We often hear the new mantra of success is to become a good listener. It is said that the best way to succeed in all spheres of life is to become a good listener. How? Hey, I'm Lipika Sud and welcome back to my channel. Today, let me talk about how important active listening is and how it has helped me in my personal and professional life. Now, you might be thinking, wait, isn't listening just listening? Well, not exactly. There's a big difference between passive listening, where you're just hearing someone, and active listening, where you're truly engaged. Trust me, mastering this skill can change your relationships, boost your career, and make you a better human being overall. So let's dive into some tips that'll make you an active listening pro. Tip number 1, nonverbal communication is key. So here's the first tip. Put your phone down. Seriously, when you're listening to someone, make sure your mobile devices and other distractions are out of sight. Why? Because active listening requires your full attention, not just your ears. And it's not just about what you're hearing. Pay attention to the speaker's body language, their breath, and facial expressions. Sometimes what they're not saying is just as important as what they are. I remember one time I was in a meeting and I noticed the person I was talking to, he kept fidgeting and avoiding eye contact. Instead of brushing it off, I asked if everything was okay. And that opened up a whole new level of conversation. So keep those eyes peeled. Tip number 2. Verbal communication is just as important. Next up, when you're actively listening, don't just sit there in silence. Engage with the speaker verbally. Ask good, open-ended questions that encourage them to keep talking. It's kind of like being a mental health therapist. Ask the question, step back, and let them share. One thing I love to do is to sprinkle in phrases like, I hear you, or that makes sense. It shows that you are following along without taking over the conversation. Believe me, people appreciate that. Tip number 3, respond actively to what was just said. Alright, here's something super important. Don't just sit there with a blank face. When someone says something, respond to it. Show that you're processing what they're saying. This could be a simple nod, a smile, or even saying something like, wow, that's really interesting. It shows that you are engaged and that you value what they are saying. I have had conversations where the other person just stared at me blankly. And let me tell you, it feels like you're talking to a wall. Don't be that wall. Be an active participant in the conversation. Tip number 4, keep the focus on them. Last but definitely not the least, keep the focus on the person speaking. This conversation is about them, not you. I know it's tempting to jump in with your own stories or advice, but resist that urge. Let them talk, share their thoughts, and get everything off their chest. So many times it's happened. I'm having a conversation with somebody, I'm trying to make that person understand an issue, and all that person is waiting for me is to stop so that he can jump in to say, oh yes, I did this in this situation and this happened and then I did this and I managed it this way and I. Hey, it's really not about you. It's about the person speaking. And only after they have said everything, and if it's really relevant, can you share your insights or experiences. And when you do, keep it brief and make sure it's actually helpful to them. I found that when I let people talk without interrupting, they often come to their own conclusions, way more powerful than anything I could have told them. The biggest communication problem is we do not listen to understand. we listen to reply. So, there you have it. 4 tips to turn you into an active listening superstar. Remember, active listening isn't just about hearing words. It's about being fully present, engaging with empathy, and making the speaker feel truly heard. It's a game changer, whether you're at work, with friends, or just chatting with someone you care about. Thanks for tuning in. If you found these tips helpful, give this video a thumbs up, share it with someone you care and who could use a little listening boost. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more content like this. And hey, drop a comment below. What's your go-to active listening tip? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, keep listening, stay engaged. I believe in you. I love you. Take care and keep smiling.